Good evening and welcome to Chasing Prophecy on FM 105.3 in New Orleans, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. I'm Jenny Nicasio, along with my co-host Sean Kelly, Jason Ian Petro, and John Ventry. I am so glad to be here, guys, tonight. Make sure you like us on YouTube, follow us on our Chasing Prophecy Facebook page, and if you think you'd be a great guest for the show, shoot me up with a message. Okie dokie pokies. How you guys doing tonight?
Happy Torture Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a
Happy
torture.
Happy
It's a-
Torture Tuesday, guys. So
Yeah.
you guys all ready for Halloween?
Oh, hell no.
Well, we had one parade yesterday and got another parade this weekend. And trick or treating next Monday.
You like my hat?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
It's my little costume this year.
Source-tastic.
Source-tastic.
Yeah.
Well, we have a fantastic show coming up for you tonight. And before we get started, I just want to introduce our guest since it is Halloween. And I hope I don't screw up her name. We have the author. Well, let's just start. Lesley Bannatyne. I'm not really sure. She can fix that for me. She is an author who writes on folklore, popular culture, and one of the country's foremost authorities on Halloween. She has shared her knowledge on television specials for the History Channel, The Haunted History of Halloween, The Real Story of Halloween, contributed the Halloween article to the World Book Encyclopedia. That is so cool. She's also written short stories, and many which are included in her debut collection, Unaccustomed to Grace, out of Gaia Press in March 2022. Lesley is the author who writes on folklore, popular culture, and one of the knowledge of television specials. Sorry, I already did that for the History Channel. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Lesley, and she can help me fix her last name. So welcome to Chasing Prophecy, Lesley. Go ahead and fix that last
Hi,
name for
Lesley.
me.
Welcome, Lesley.
Bannatyne.
Bannatyne.
That
Okay,
was going to be my
Bannatyne.
guess.
Bannatyne.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say.
Wow. That's odd. Well, I'm sorry I screwed that up. I usually do that
okay.
with last names. I have a problem with.
You should hear her try to pronounce mine for the longest time.
Oh my
Oh my
God! It took
God,
forever.
She still messes it up.
Yep.
Yeah, I do. I still mess it up. But what are we going to do about that? But Lesley, is Halloween. This is your favorite time of the year, I bet.
It is. I love just about everything about it. And I'm up here in Boston, so it's New England. It's, the leaves are colored. It's just beautiful. It's windy. It's chilly. It's perfect.
I bet. Isn't that Boston, Massachusetts? Is that Massachusetts, right? And that's close to Salem. Are we not right?
Yeah. I was there yesterday.
Oh,
Oh,
did you
wow.
go for the witches covering thing that they do every year?
I didn't do that. I have done the witches' ball before. It was great. Yesterday was Monday, and I thought I would have the city to myself, but no, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there on a rainy Monday in New England. So
Oh, that's crazy.
It was
Wow.
nice here yesterday.
Yes, it was. It was beautiful today too, huh?
Yeah.
Is it
Lovely,
like in Salem? Is it like really busy every day, 365 days out of the year?
no, it's October. It's really October, and the weekends in October are insane. Probably a lot like Mardi Gras.
Okay.
Only not as many parades. And the rest of the year there are people up there, but not nearly the same amount as in October.
Spooky season.
It is spooky season. I mean, they
Spooky
run
season
tours
here,
all year
too.
round.
Things are falling off the wall.
Did it? Oh, there you go. I got a story to
That's
tell
because
you
you didn't
later.
secure it well enough, Jenny.
So, do they have a lot of I mean, I know this is going to be a really, really ridiculous question, but do a lot of people dress up to be a witch just to be a witch, or are they real witches that dress up as witches?
In Salem, a lot of the people who come to Salem are drawn there by the witchcraft shops and the presence of witches in the city, but they are tourists. There are people who are fans and who just like the aesthetic. So just about everybody there is wearing a witch hat, but they're not they're not practicing witches. There are practicing witches that run the shops and run the seances and do the psychic readings and things like that. But most people are tourists.
We had here in Monongahela a couple years ago. I think they did for a couple of years. I'm not sure if it's still going on or not, but they actually had a witch fest at the aquatorium down on the river, and I've never seen so many people dressed up as witches in my entire life. And they got like this like dances down, and they got vendors, and you know, it was really cool to see. You know, I don't know how many of them were real or how many were just you know, getting in on the action. So, but it was cool. It was actually called Witch Fest.
Getting in on the action. So tell us about your book and tell us about Halloween.
Okay. Like what part of it? I've spent 30 years writing about Halloween, so I just need something a little more.
Tell us a little history. When did it start?
When did it start? When did it start here in America?
Yes, that would be great.
Not until after the Civil War, really. I came over with Irish and Scottish immigrants, maybe in the 18th and 19th centuries, but not in a big way. They might have remembered the things that they were doing in their original countries, which is where Halloween came from. It came from Northwestern Europe. But we didn't take to it until after the Civil War, when we were so obsessed with death because of all the soldiers that had died or were missing in the war. So there was this huge obsession with ghosts. And there was also this obsession with Scotland because it was seen at that time as very exotic and rural. And Victorian hostesses loved these two things. And so they started throwing Halloween themed parties, which were kind of Scottishy at first, trying to imitate things that might have happened in Scotland in 1700 or 1800. But they were things that you would recognize. There were witches involved. You know, the image of the witch or the jack-o'-lantern and the ghost were there at the very beginning of American Halloween. So we started it, you know, late 1800s. We started celebrating it here.
Now in Ireland, did they not use turnips?
Oh yeah, because pumpkins are everywhere here in North America, but they had turnips, and so they would carve faces into turnips the way we carve pumpkins. And originally it was to represent the souls of the dead, because it was to commemorate All Saints and All Souls Day, November 1st and 2nd. So like All Saints, same thing. You know, people are still visiting graveyards. People are still thinking of their dead at this time of year.
Is there anything that they still do that maybe, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, did they really carve pumpkins in the beginning? Where did that come into play? And why do we dress up at Halloween?
Pumpkins were carving pumpkins was originally a prank in this country. It happened in the fall, but it wasn't associated with Halloween. It was that kids would grab pumpkins from the field because they were everywhere here. And they'd carve faces in them, put a light in them, and then hang them on a stick in front of someone's mirror to scare them to death, and then run away, or jump out from behind a wall and scare someone and run away. So that's what jack-o'-lanterns first were. Jack-o'-lantern means a light that appears and then just disappears. And so our pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns were first, and then hostesses started to use them when parties became popular because they're a great decoration. Still are.
Did you ever hear of pumpkin claws?
No, what's that?
I don't know if me and my dad were the only ones that started, but when I was a kid, around Halloween, he would find like small, like a big one, and then a couple small, like really hard pumpkins that were still real hard. And he would leave them outside. And when I was growing up, it was still really cold in October, November, December, not 70, 80 degrees. But we would save them till Christmas time. And then we would make, Santa hats and cotton ball beards and put sunglasses on them and all kinds of cool stuff. We called them pumpkin claws, and his little elves. And they would usually last until, I'd say probably like January or so. It was just like a cool little tradition that I'm going to work on continuing with my son.
I think it's great. I have never heard of that before. I think
it's wonderful. Cool. It's real cool.
Pumpkin claws. I like that. That's pumpkin claws.
I just wanted to say something real quick. if you wonder why there's no comments, StreamYard is having a problem tonight. That they sent out a notice that a lot of the Facebook can't comment on here. We can't see the comments. So I don't know if you guys can see anything on, if you're on Facebook, if you can see Facebook. I don't know if you have it open on your phone or whatnot. So if you see any comments, we can look that way. I don't know how long if it's going to be the whole show or what, but I got a notice when I set up the stream tonight. But anyways, I just wanted to say that.
What got you into Halloween, Lesley?
You know, I loved it as a kid. There was something about the freedom of running around after dark in, you know, a cape or with a tail that just seemed so glamorous and unique. I mean, it just didn't happen any other time of the day. But as an adult, I got interested in it because I thought it was I was interested in ancient traditions and authentic traditions and folklore. And Halloween is all that stuff together. So I started to look into it. And like anything else, once you get interested in something, the subject gets huge. And right. So I just kept looking and looking and looking at it, and ended up with 5 books on Halloween. Wow. Of different sorts.
Yeah. But that go ahead, Jen.
No, I was just gonna say I'm not like what I don't know. You have to give us some more Halloween. I don't know.
How did we get to the point where like monsters and all the crazy, scary stuff is involved with the holiday?
Yeah, you know, that is so American. I mean, it's always been an eerie holiday and a spooky holiday, but not until fairly recently has it ever been a violent holiday or a terrifying holiday. So although there were always witches around, there was always the supernatural around, it always had this otherworldly cast to it. It wasn't until really John Carpenter's 1978 movie Halloween that Hollywood and Halloween came together, and Halloween became kind of a horror holiday. It did a couple of things. It brought teenagers and older adults or adults back into celebrating Halloween, because up till then it had pretty much been a kid's holiday, right? And you outgrow trick-or-treating, what do? Well, if you have a horror movie that's set on Halloween, that's called Halloween, that's about Halloween, it all of a sudden makes it more adult. It's certainly more graphic and more violent and more, I don't know, I guess adult is the best word, but it brought older kids back into Halloween. And then there were tons of fans of horror that discovered the holiday Halloween and thought, we can celebrate this. I know how. And after that, there was this whole slate of slasher movies, and Halloween and blood kind of got married together, and the whole haunted entertainment business exploded like in the 90s and the early 2000s, so that now we've got plenty of entertainments for people looking for a more, I don't know, vivid Halloween than somebody who might have been raised on Betty Boop's Halloween party.
But
jeez.
Now, over in Ireland and Scotland, people dressed up. Was that from what I heard, is to scare the evil spirits away from the house?
You know, that is very possible, but they also dressed up to disguise themselves when they went house to house begging for food or beer or money, which was, you know, something that happened along all of the big church holidays, and All Saints' Day was a big church holiday. But over time, it became more of a fun thing. So you really disguise yourself. You disguise your face, your body, your voice, and then you bang on someone's door and just burst into their kitchen and demand that they feed you and give you liquor. And
try that nowadays. You got the cops coming.
Those are, you know, costumes. They're disguises. I mean, costumes used to be about disguising yourself, and I think it's fun that now it's about, you know, showing some part of yourself that the world maybe has never seen before. So costumes are more not just revealing physically, but revealing, I don't know, psychically as well. They're not disguises.
Oh, they're not disguises.
Not
Okay.
anymore. I don't think anymore.
It's a way for folks to let their inner out without being ridiculed.
Exactly. Let your
True.
inner out, or even if you are completely in a costume that no one can tell who you are, it's still a way of expressing what you want or who you want to be. So you're inside of a dinosaur costume, you can ask differently than if you're, in a airbrushed bikini costume.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
That's
it's interesting to if you're wearing a costume to like get into character, I guess. Because we were at a friend of mine had a like a Halloween kind of haunted house at his house that he built for like kids and neighborhood and neighbors and everything. And so he had his theme this year was all like movie characters. So he was Leatherface. I was Jason Voorhees. We had Jeepers Creepers, and he had it all set up real cool where you would start the entrance and you walk down and stuff would pop out and jump out. He'd come right out with the chainsaw. But it was fun to be Voorhees because I've seen all the movies and I'm just thinking, okay, well, I don't say anything, but I got to like moan and groan, but I got to sell like the slasher thing. So I had a machete with like fake blood all over it. And, it made it look like I was about to slice up, the one other actor that was in the room with me. Then I'd look over at the people that just walked in and, do my best to scare them. Some of them went running out of there, which is pretty cool. I mean, if I saw me, standing behind a fog machine and everything with a machete, I'd take off as well. But it's just neat to, take on that persona of characters and everything for the season. It's a good time.
Definitely. I mean, and in the hundreds and hundreds of people that mostly volunteer for those haunted houses, the big ones that we have in every state, they love it. And that's what they love about it. You described it really well. There's this sense of you're performing and it's powerful. And there's something really fun about making people afraid and to run away from you.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every second of it. I was like, I need to start doing this more often.
Where did the black cats come from?
Oh, the black cats have been associated with Halloween, just the image of the black cat. They came along with the witch, which kind of, I would say it happened in the 1600s when witches became associated with Halloween, and cats are associated with witches, and so are other nocturnal creatures. A cat is a night animal, so you get the cat and the bat. Things like that are associated with Halloween. Things that fly around at night. It's a dark holiday, right? You can't celebrate it in the light.
Yeah, well, that's in the city of Pittsburgh, you can.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Over there, like in the city, like there's some sections of Pittsburgh where they have trick or treating, and after daylight, they'll never do it at night.
Yeah, I remember that.
You're right.
You're right. I remember when I was a kid, I lived right outside of Pittsburgh, and when I was a kid, they started moving the time back. It was like 7, then it was 6, then it was 5, and now it's like 1:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like a safety thing because there's so many people that don't pay attention when they're driving or playing on their phone. The kids are getting run over.
Yeah, since the 70s, there's been a bigger and bigger emphasis on safety. And so you're right. Kids trick or treat during the day. Kids celebrate during the day.
Put them to bed, and then the parents go to play at night.
The parents steal all the Reese cups. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's called for us guys. That's called dad tax.
Yeah.
Dad tax.
Yeah, we raid the kids' candy. That's dad tax.
That's funny. But I still don't understand why cats. I mean, black cats. I mean, is there any other thing in the history that would contribute to black cats?
It's not.
Why not black dogs?
Yeah,
black
right.
Hermit. Yeah, hamsters.
In folklore, the witch was associated with the cat more than any other animal, except for maybe. Well, they were associated with different animals in different cultures, but in Northwestern Europe, the cat and the witch kind of went together in folklore. The witch would have a cat. The witch would have a broom. It was a domestic scene, that this witchcraft kitchen things, belong to witchcraft. They belong to women. So the cat and the witch came together into Halloween iconography, but the black cat, again, just because it's nighttime and black is dark and black and witchcraft go together. Just
people are like, oh, I got crossed by a black cat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I usually come back and say, you know what? Oh, this black cat crossed in front of me. Oh my God, I'm cursed. I said, no, it's just going going somewhere. You ain't going to be cursed.
Yeah.
That's full of crap.
I just want to apologize. It seems like there's a lot of people that are having issues with YouTube and the video. I'm not sure what's going on, but Robert says he keeps getting booted, and another person up on top said that it's frozen. So I really do apologize. This is not on our end. This is on StreamYards, and I do apologize. Hopefully it'll be archived, and if you can't see it live, you can see the retake of it. So I'm not really sure what's going on with the StreamYards tonight. I do apologize. But you can post your post. If you have any questions for Lesley, go ahead and put them in the post. She's only here till 9:40. She has a busy schedule and she can't stay with us long. So if you have a question, please post it. Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask her if there's someday you can spend like 2 hours with us.
Yeah. 2 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. It might not be right before Halloween, but there certainly is.
Oh, great. We would love to have you back when everything's working.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It figures it's us.
There must have been a black cat on somebody's computer.
It seems like it's always us, so I don't understand. I'm not sure why. But that's
what
the
was
way
your
it is in
favorite
show
costume,
business.
Leslie? What was your favorite costume when you were young, growing up? What was your favorite costume you'd like to wear?
I gotta say, my dad was great at making costumes, and he used to make them for my brother and myself. And he had a really great year when we were a pair of dice. It was just different. He made them himself. And so we were a pair of dice. We were all sevens on all sides, no matter where we turned, we were seven. But of the costumes that were just mine, I tended towards the glamorous being my favorite. You know, I liked to dress. If I was a little girl today, it would be a princess. Back when I was a kid, it was just any kind of pretty clothes, any kind of big dress. Was fantastic. And I also, you can't go wrong with a cat when you're a kid.
No, you can't.
Especially a black cat.
A black cat.
Especially. Is there any kind of special drinks in history that go with Halloween?
There was things that go with the harvest at this time of year were associated with Halloween. So apples, nuts,
pumpkin,
cabbages, kale. So I would say apples. Then you've got mead going, or beer, or different kinds of alcoholic beverages like that. Beer and mead.
There, yeah. And the children bobbing for apples too. That's great.
Yeah.
And
did you ever bob for apples, Sean?
Oh God, no. My mouth was too small for that stuff. I couldn't do that. It was too small. I wouldn't. I couldn't do
You had a small mouth, huh?
But see, back then, right? You could do that. And you didn't have to worry about catching any type of diseases. Like right now, you couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Because somebody's face was in there. But me and Jenny, we're getting up there in years, but we survived it all. You know what I mean? We survived it. So with all the, you can't even walk somewhere. I remember John.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, it is. What?
Take the costume off, John. Jeez, that's not the next week.
But I remember at one point in time where they would put razor blades into apples. Do you remember that?
Wow.
I heard about that. My parents always be like, "We gotta check your candy."
Yeah.
Everybody heard about it, but the sociologists that studied it found out that it didn't actually happen.
Okay.
What didn't happen was there wasn't an anonymous
sadist out there putting razor blades in apples and giving them to kids at trick-or-treating. It wasn't a stranger danger thing. But when things happened, when you would find pins or something in that, it was usually pranks played between siblings or copycat incidences or something like that. There wasn't that original, what they call Halloween sadist. That never happened. That's the myth. But it was a time, it happened in the 70s when we were kind of worried about children. And so it made sense to everybody that strangers might be dangerous. And that's why it's so deep in our culture. I mean, everybody's heard it. And probably everybody knows somebody who knows somebody that it happened to. But it's one of those things that the main thing never happened. But then
so it never happened, huh?
So much that you think it did.
See, I want to run that past like all the folks that are out there today, because we've got younger generations eating Tide Pods, doing the coronavirus challenge where they were like licking toilet seats and door handles and stuff. So, you know, that's one of those things I think it needs to be kept under the table, because, you know, it might be the next challenge.
Oh, God.
And I'd hate to see somebody get hurt from doing something stupid.
Yeah.
Good comeback. Hi, John.
How you doing? Hey, just because you guys were tied up, I was at the Senate debate, a watch party, and John Fetterman crashed and burned, and Dr. Oz did great. I think.
What does that have to do with Halloween?
I think Oz sealed it tonight. I think he sealed it.
That's scary. Okay, but all right,
that's scary.
Thank you.
John, this is Lesley. She
Hi,
writes
Lesley.
a lot of stuff about Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, but I really cannot. I wish everything would have been okay today for the show, and I'm looking forward for you to coming back on the show. You know, when you have time, where you can actually sit, you know, stuff like that.
Can I ask one question to Lesley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lesley, when I was a kid, I was big time into horror and all of that. And, you know, I dressed up as monsters and Frankenstein. I was offended by kids that wore, you know, Cinderella, Wonder Woman, that type of stuff. That's the way I viewed Halloween, was Monster Night, you know. But as I've gotten older, I realized that I'm very concerned about the introduction of the occult to children through Halloween, through witches, etc. What's your feelings on that?
You're probably going to get offended, John, because Lesley loves like the big gowns and
yeah.
Love dress up.
Let the offense commence.
Yeah, my question is, though, are we introducing kids to the occult as opposed to it's just a fun night?
I personally do not believe so. I personally was today with a 7-year-old girl dressed like a beautiful witch, and there was nothing that she didn't have any inkling at all of anything other than it was a great witch costume and it was tons of fun. So, you know, I can't see a 7-year-old dressed as a witch inviting any kind of occult anything.
I think that falls on the parents more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, with kids, like, it depends what the parents are into, and if they let their kids see, you know, even if they're into, you know, some occult stuff or whatever, you know, that's fine. Everybody has their own thing. But I feel like that depends if they let their kids see what it is and be around it, you know, as compared to hiding them from it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go to parties and more kids are introduced to Ouija boards Halloween night than any other night. So, I mean, it's something as a kid for me, I loved all of that stuff. But as an adult and having my own encounter, I'm really concerned about it now. So, you know, there's that subtle message that gets sent to kids with it. And I'm actually kind of worried about that.
You know what? That's a good point, because say the next challenge is the Ouija challenge, and all of a sudden all these kids are, you know, bringing demons up, and now we got the apocalypse because there's just demons floating around everywhere.
Jay, you're right about that.
Hey, you don't know.
True.
You never know.
Well, it brings up a lot of religions don't even like to celebrate it because it brings up that.
Well, you know,
churches.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going
I mean,
to hell for
Halloween is-
celebrating Halloween.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when the Puritans came over and when this country was founded, Halloween was outlawed until the Irish famine of 18, I don't know, 45, 60, whatever it was. It was the Irish that brought Halloween trick or treat to America about 170 years ago, and it became popular again. But there was no trick or treat in 1800, 1700. The Puritans were very much against that, you know.
So
The
how
Puritans,
scary
there
were
was
the
no
1800s
Halloween. There was no
costumes?
Halloween in America. There was no Halloween in Puritan America. No.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't until the
You
Irish.
said that they banned it. No, it just didn't exist.
Well, they could have brought it over, but the Irish were the ones that
No,
brought
a
it over.
Protestant would never have brought over All Saints Day or All Souls Day. But you're right. It was the Irish that did.
Yeah, they brought it over.
So the Irish brought Halloween over.
Oh yeah,
Irish
absolutely.
and Scottish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's Sean.
yeah, it's me.
Those mix again, Sean. You guys are involved in so much.
Yeah. I could do a whole story on the mix that came over during that famine. They stuck them in the Civil War battle.
That's
But we won't get there. We won't go there on that one.
And indentured servants.
Because it's
and everything
Halloween, and I enjoy Halloween.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, you know,
I love November 1st because all the Halloween candy's 50% off.
that's true.
And then, Jay, November 2nd, all the Christmas candy gets put on the shelves and the Halloween
Christmas
gets
tree
tossed.
cakes have hit the shelves.
They should just merge them all together into one big holiday and get it.
Did you explain the Halloween night, All Saints, All Souls night? Did you guys talk about that at all? What that means or anything?
No.
I can do it briefly, but then I have to slip away.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I hope that's okay. But you're right. All Saints and All Souls were set by the church November 1st, November 2nd. All Saints came first in about 800, and All Souls in about 1000 AD. And All Saints was also called All Hallows, so it gave Halloween its name. All Hallows Eve is the night before, and All Souls gave it its juju because All Souls is about remembering the dead, and Halloween to this day has a lot to do with the spirit world, you know. So it was the church that really, really influenced the holiday ultimately. And I thank you guys for having me here.
Thanks.
I gotta get
thank
on
you,
my
thank you.
broom and go.
Okay, you can on your broom, but thank you so much. You can check
Thank
out
you,
our book
Lesley, for having us.
on An American Holiday, American History of Halloween on Amazon. You can get it there. But thank you again for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that leads us to our next guest. Well, go ahead, Sean. John, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was in New Mexico, and they had a lot of the Mexican shops there with Day of the Dead. So I saw a wedding cake topping of the bride and groom as skeletons till death do us part, you know? So I bought that, and I didn't know how my kids would react to it. But, when my son, he got married first, I gave that to them as a gift, and I said, put this on the cake. They understood it right away, till death do us part, right? And there was two skeletons through life, through death. They put it on the cake.
How about your daughter?
I did the same for her. I think it was about 2 years later. I bought one for her and gave it to her also. But I didn't know how they would react to that.
Well, I don't know if I would like it, but that's
That's
okay.
why I said I didn't know, how they would take to it, but they thought it was cool.
That
If
sounds real. I don't know what a skeleton on my wedding cake.
You know how they looked at it? They saw Dad get divorced, and it hurt them. And I think for them it was till death do us part. Matter of fact, both my kids have said that I am never going to get divorced. So, that's good.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I said that too, but here I am.
Yeah.
Well,
Unfortunately,
it's a 50-50 by statistics nowadays. So you got two kids that are married, right? So one of them's going to.
So one should, yeah. But
unfortunately,
it's that other person in the relationship.
So if there's a third party involved, forget it. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, I meant the spouse being the other person.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
You can't control
That's
the
true.
spouse, right? You can't control.
No,
it.
you can't.
Yeah,
we
so
can't.
you might want what you want, but that isn't the way it goes.
Well, we have a special guest coming on the show, psychic media, her psychic media queen. I don't know her real name, but I guess that's what she calls herself. And I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. And she's a clairvoyant, she's a medium, and she's got a great, fabulous following. And she's a teacher, spiritual she's a spiritual healer, a motivational speaker. Oh my goodness gracious, she's got it all. So we're going to head and bring her on, and she's going to be doing some mini readings. And if you would like one, please shoot us a comment in the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Welcome to Chasing Prophecy, psychic medium queen.
Hello, thank you so much. Hello,
How did you get
everybody.
that name?
Psychic medium queen. Well, I'm a psychic and I'm a medium. That's first and foremost. As far as the queen part, that's how I carry myself. It just fits. Spirit just put it all together.
John won't like that. He's not into fancy clothes and Halloween gowns and princesses. And you're a queen and you wear your crown very nicely.
But anybody
John
can call
the party
themselves a
pooper.
queen, but it's the definition that matters. It's how one carries himself. So it goes a little bit further than that.
There you go. That's good. And tell us about, how did you get involved in this? Was this something you were born with?
I was born this way. Well, we're all born with psychic gifts. We just have to do the work to open up that box. I've known I was gifted since the tender age of 13 years old, but it wasn't until I went through my dark night of the soul that I really opened up fully. I mean, we're constantly working until the day we cross over because our souls are eternal. So in school Earth is like a school, so we're always learning. But the more work you're willing to do, the more you can assess.
That's amazing. So when you say you're a medium,
I can channel those who've crossed over.
Okay, so you channel people who crossed over. Okay. Is this something that you see? Do you just visually, like in your mind, like an imagination, like you see them, or is this something you feel?
I'm an extreme empath, so I can feel whatever it is the person has crossed over from. I can actually visually see them. I've been able to describe people from head to toe, and it goes further than that. They showed me how they crossed over, whether it be something as detrimental as unaliving, drug addiction, illness, you name it. If it's meant for me to see it, I will see it, and I will feel it.
Jason, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm trying to put my thoughts together.
Yeah,
I'm waiting to see.
I always like to put people on the spot.
I'm waiting to see what John has to say, so he doesn't get all
I
offensive.
absolutely believe that that's true. In my mind, when Adam and Eve were born, they had a direct connection to God. And, after 300 generations, and that's what it's been, we still have that latent ability for telepathy, these connections to the spirit world. Some people have it more than others, and I believe that 100%. Matter of fact, when that stuff went on in my house for years afterwards, I had some psychic abilities. It was amazing. I would say maybe it's waned a little bit after 8 years, but I know it's real. I give you an example. My first grandson, I flew out to St. Louis for his baptism. And after it was all done, everybody was over the in-laws' house. We were all getting ready to leave in the cars. And I had this overwhelming feeling that we were going to get in a car accident and the baby was going to get hurt. And I said to my daughter, can you put a pillow on the door in the window next to him? And they all looked at me, what are you, crazy? And I said, I'm riding with you. I got a bad feeling. I'm riding in the car with you and the baby.
That's called your intuition.
And I tell you what, we were the third car at the light. Light turns green, first car, second car, third car, us. I look to the left, there's a car running the light, T-boned us right at the light. I don't think he hit us that hard, maybe 40 miles an hour or so. Baby screaming, the airbags go off. And, it's like, I knew that was going to happen, and even when the kid was born, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I had a picture in my face of a woman with short hair. And she says to me, she's in a field of butterflies right now. I didn't know what that meant. I get up, I check my phone. My daughter's in labor. I look up what butterflies mean. That's the soul of a child coming down from heaven, and my grandson was born. So
Wow, that's beautiful.
it's real. It's definitely real.
It's very
Okay,
real.
we're
It's
gonna.
not it's not a matter of fact of trying to prove whether it's real or not. Every single person that I've taken on as a client can attest to it. And then even more than that, actually, I just covered this in my collective reading. There's no way in the world that we can be in different parts of the world and experience the same thing. That's proof in and of itself. For example, I actually recently had a great loss in my family. Physically, I had 3 people die in my family and crossover at one time in a car accident recently. And the same
Sorry
thing
to
that I
hear that.
experienced as a medium, that's okay, don't be sorry. The same thing that I experienced as a medium, I'm experiencing my sister being I call it the in-between, seeing her in the darkness before she crossed over to that light. I talked to my client who experienced the same thing, that had left her body for a split second, but she begged to be put back in her body so her mother wouldn't lose another child.
Oh.
There was no way we could have the same exact thing happen and be in 2 different parts of the world and share that same story. And I even described her brother who had passed over to the letter without seeing him. There are people who have this, like myself, and there are people who I call are the storefront psychic, the people who are cold reading, the people who are faking it. Not everybody's meant to do this. I'm an authentic. I was born this way. There are people who try to study this. You can't study this. Either you are this or you're not. We all are this, but there's a payment, and a great payment, to acquire it. I've paid it, and I continue to pay it. Just like I kind of knew this was coming because I felt a lot of angst, and now I understand where it was coming from. It makes sense because not everybody believes or understands it. So you can't prepare for everything, but spirit always keeps me prepared enough to be able to perform the way I'm supposed to. And when it's just me and my clients, it's just me and them. And the experiences that they had, it's in the feedback. It's on my page. It's on every single platform. It's on Google. You can't make that up. And you can't pay somebody to have an experience like that. Either you do or you don't.
You know,
So whose form becomes to me?
when you mentioned being in 2 places at once, it makes me think of the guy from in the UFO field, Lockheed Skunk Works, when he was asked, "How do you travel to the stars?" He asked the crowd, "How do you do that?" And Jan Horizan, who was the head of MUFON at the time, said, "You do it with your mind." And he said, "That's exactly how we do it. You can't physically in a ship travel to the stars, but you can do it with your mind and be there also, just like you're saying."
Yeah. And we're going to go ahead and start these mini readings with Psychic Medium Queen. Our first person to get a mini
Jenny
reading. We're going
Nicasio.
No, we are going to do these. I'm going to set a timer because we want everybody to get a chance. Because
The only thing about these readings is I have to have the energy and the capacity and feel safe to do it and feel welcomed. And the way in which the show has went so far is not what I imagined it would be. I'm just being very honest, which I've kind of prepared for as well. If this is a matter of we're going to see if we can see and vet the psychic, then that's a poor pull for me. And that's never going to be good energy.
And what was that? What did you? I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you mean.
The energy has to be good because I'm very particular about the energies I read, the people I deal with, and everything, because that's imperative. Very bad energy makes for very bad outcomes for anything.
Oh yeah, I can understand that. Are you feeling?
And this just didn't feel welcoming. It felt more like I want to pry on the psychic as opposed to the psychic coming in and doing what she's good at.
Oh,
that
no.
I don't care for.
I'm sorry you don't. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm really excited about you being here.
I'm very honest, and even some of my clients are here and there. They don't feel the vibe is a very good one either. I can't work under those kind of conditions, but I do appreciate you guys asking me on. And I usually don't do anything. I don't believe in reading for free because that's bad energetically anyway. That's really bad karma. But I wanted to come in and be of service like I am to the collective every single week on my YouTube channel, Psychic Medium Queen. I read celebrities as well as I read for the collective as well as my one-on-ones, but it has to be comfortable.
No, I'm sorry you're not comfortable. Is there something that one of us did or said?
The whole setup well, it didn't feel very welcoming. But I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys find somebody more fitting that you guys can give the questions to and things like that.
Well,
But it
I'm
has to be a
sorry,
good-
girls in the green. I'm sorry. There's a couple of people that were waiting for a reading. I do
Those are
apologize for that. I'm sorry. You still there? Hello.
She left.
She's gone.
But for
Wow.
1999, I'll do the readings. I don't understand that at all.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
She didn't want it. She did not feel welcome, and she doesn't want to be on the show.
I said I believed in it absolutely, and I gave examples. So I don't get it. I don't get that at all.
Well, that's a shame. I guess I'm going to have to tell Alexis we're sorry that we can't do it. She did not feel welcoming on the show. I don't know why. Was there Jason? Did you think something was out of line?
I'm honestly confused. I mean, that's a first for us.
She also said she doesn't do readings for free. Did she?
Well, that's not what she said. Well, she knew exactly what she was on the show.
So, oh well, there you go. We offended her, so whatever.
Yeah, we offended her.
Yeah.
I felt well. There goes one for the record books.
Well, I have never done a show and not offended somebody, so there you go. But I didn't offend her this time, so there you go.
You didn't say anything out of line.
No, I believe in it.
You didn't.
Yeah, the one time.
One time John didn't say anything to offend people.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe it's true. So what am I going to say? Okay. You know what?
Interesting.
On Halloween night, you don't have any other guests coming on, do you, that I can offend?
No.
Oh, okay. So on Halloween night, what would be your favorite movie that you would play on Halloween night and sit with your kids or whatever, or your date and watch?
Oh, that's a good one. I would go with Frankenstein, the old time Frankenstein.
Oh, okay. The black and white, 1932, I think that was.
I think those are the best horror movies out there.
Oh, they were great. And you got to realize that's like 12, 13 years after silent movies. You're only a decade into talkies. And some of the greatest movies ever were made in the 1930s. King Kong, Frankenstein, Dracula, Gone with the Wind, Wizard of Oz. It's unbelievable.
Werewolf?
Yeah, the werewolf, Wolfman, yeah. All right, so Jen, what movie would you watch on Halloween night?
Well, I just watched a Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, but it wasn't with Michael Myers. It was really strange. Very strange.
Is that a newer one? Is it new?
No, it was old. It seemed like it was from the 80s. I watched it with my son, and it was like this guy he had like a costume company that he did masks. And if you put the mask on, if they watched a commercial and they became like, they would blow up or something. It was horrifying. It was terrible. No, it was very, very weird.
How about Jay? What would you watch on Halloween night?
I've always been probably my all-time favorite series of movies is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, because they're just scary at any time of the year. But between those and the Jason Voorhees, like I love the Halloween series. Some of the newer ones, it's okay, whatever. But the old school ones are good. But I think for Halloween night, it would probably be the Jason Voorhees for me. I've been that character multiple times since I was a kid, and there's just something about it, that really pertains to that day for me.
Yeah, it's funny how tastes change over years. I used to own every slasher movie that was made. And during COVID, I went back and watched them all. And I have no taste for that slasher, blood, and gore stuff anymore. There's got to be a story to it, And I took them all. I put them in the raffle basket for the MUFON conferences. I got rid of them all, But for me, I think the movie I would pick and watch would be Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis. It's just the atmosphere. It's Halloween. I think that would be such a cool movie to watch on Halloween.
Have you seen the new one that just came out? Halloween Ends.
I'm waiting. My son wants to watch it this week with me, so I'm waiting to see it, and we'll see if it actually ends.
I saw some trailers.
I watched it. Yeah. I watched the entire movie, so I won't spoil
how many
it
stars? How many stars would you give it?
For me personally, I'm in like out of how many? What, 5?
5.
5.
for me, following the series and what I liked about them and everything, I'm gonna probably go with I'm gonna say like a 3 for me.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how many times can you do it? I thought Halloween H2O on the 20th anniversary was the end, but they've done 4 more since then.
Then Rob Zombie did an awesome remake,
Oh,
and
yeah. Well, that too. It was so brutal. I bought it, and then I gave it away. I said, I just don't want to watch brutality like that, But I used to love that stuff. I used to watch it all the time. So now the next question with movies would be, that's your Halloween movie. What is the scariest movie you've ever seen? How about Sean?
Oh wow,
Scariest.
scariest! Holy crap!
Glorious. Exorcist was my
The Bride of Frankenstein.
No. And the first thing that the Leprechaun series.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Leprechaun.
The Leprechaun series. Yeah, well,
Yeah, the Leprechaun series.
that's your Irish mythology.
I'm telling you, man, it just like now. See, people are saying The Exorcist, and that didn't bother me. You know what I mean?
listen, the scariest movie for me is the original uncut version of the 78, 79 Exorcist, like the uncut
73.
version.
Yeah.
It still scares the heebie-jeebies out of me to this day. And that movie's how old? And I've seen it how many times? Like it's just freaky.
It's next year's the 50th anniversary. Sean, when I was in Dublin, there was a Leprechaun store.
Was there?
Yeah, with all Leprechaun stuff. It was on the main road. It's on the main road where the river. I don't remember the name of the river or anything there, but there was a Leprechaun store right there. Yeah. Did we ask Jen? Jen, did you say The Exorcist?
Yeah, The Exorcist was is scariest.
I'll show you my scariest. I got it on the mantle here. This movie scared the crap out of me at 16 years old. I kept seeing her face.
Ooh, take that off.
Isn't it?
Why would you have that?
Word.
You have it on your mantle.
You know what?
Jesus.
You see the signature?
Okay.
That's the girl. I bought it from her at the
Linda Blair.
Yeah, Linda Blair. I bought it. She signed it at what do they call that in New Jersey? Chilla Theater, HorrorCon, Chilla Theater. I used to go to that every year and take my kids too. It's probably the best HorrorCon that you can go to. But that movie scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, my other son wanted to. I have 2 sons. One, my oldest wanted to watch it. I just want to apologize again about the psychic. The only thing I could think of that offended her that you were talking about God, and that's the only thing that's the only thing I can come up with.
Well,
and I do apologize. That's the only thing I can think of.
That's her problem.
Because no one, John was not out of line. Jason or John or myself was not out of line.
Well, maybe when what was it said that John doesn't like princesses or queens comment?
Maybe.
Possibly?
Oh, the first line.
Yeah, maybe.
That might have been a bad opener.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you know what? People offended that easy. If she was a psychic medium, she should have known you were going to say that and not got on the show.
No, she knew that. She knew that about the readings. No, so it wasn't about she doesn't do something for free. And if she were dressed, she was in here and she saw that we talked about the princesses. With the
first lady,
with Lesley, because Lesley, she likes dressing up as princesses and stuff.
Whatever.
Okay. Whatever. But because I know there were some people that really wanted a reading, so. But
who now? I wrote down a couple of questions to ask you. Now, if you
you said wait, John, you said you had some information about Halloween.
Yeah, you did.
That next. Let me just do this first.
Okay, no.
Where would you go if you had some place to visit Halloween? Where would you go? Where would you want to go Halloween night?
Cemetery.
Okay, cemetery. Jay, where would you go?
Not Sean's house.
How about you, Jen?
Where would I go on Halloween?
Yeah, it don't have to be local. Like if you could go somewhere Halloween week.
I would like to go to like somewhere like New Haven or Salem or even somewhere like Stonehenge, Ireland.
Yes. I mean, for me, I wrote down Salem, Massachusetts would be the number one. My son and his wife and the kids went there 2 weeks ago. But I was surprised. I looked up where do people go, and Gettysburg on Halloween night is considered a big one to visit. And
Huh.
then any of the asylums, sanitariums, that type of thing is where people go, or where they'd want to go. So, what song, Halloween song, would you play Halloween night? Is there a song that comes to mind that epitophizes Halloween?
I like Thriller, but that's just
Thriller.
I'd
That's the
pick
one I
one of
wrote
those
down. Thriller.
CDs you get at the Halloween store that has all the cool, crazy sound effects and music.
Yeah. How about Sean?
How about me?
Yeah.
I don't have one, bud, because I really never listened
Well,
to Halloween music.
well, Thriller for me. But then, if you wanted a fun song, I think the Monster Mash.
That's all right.
I
Remember
saw a
that
thing
was
that's
for-
actually like if you actually listen or look up the words, it's for something pretty inappropriate. I don't know. I
The
haven't
Monster
thought it-
Mash.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not. I just
Yeah, I
saw
don't
somebody
think it
post
is.
something the other day, and other people were commenting like, "Oh my God, you're so right." Like if you look
Huh.
up the words and you put it all together, it's something that's pretty. Whatever.
Joni says that she liked Werewolves of London, that song.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
What
So-
is the most popular costume for Halloween? The two most popular costumes for Halloween.
Whatever kids movie is number one.
Yeah.
You're pretty
For one
close.
of them.
But what do you think, Jen? It's a female costume.
The
Both of them.
Witch.
A princess.
Nope.
Queen.
Nope. It's
What?
Wonder Woman has been the number one over the years, and Little Red Riding Hood, the number two.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
those
I
are the
have
two most
seen neither in any parades or any trick or
Me
treat.
neither.
I've gone to.
Yeah,
Where are you taking these questions from? Like,
I looked them up online. But
He's on Google.
this is the problem with Google. They censor stuff. If it was Donald Trump's mask, they would cut it out. But these are the costumes that I remember as a kid wearing my Frankenstein mask. That I would get annoyed at some kid wearing a superhero or Wonder Woman. Oh, it's a scary day. You got to wear scary stuff. That's the way I view
Yeah, but see,
Halloween.
that takes it back to you can be whatever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But to me, you were taking away from Halloween being scary by not wearing scary, and I didn't like it
Those are
as a
probably the
kid.
No,
scariest
I
individuals you
think
gotta
I
watch
think
out for.
Halloween should be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
You're gonna
Why?
celebrate.
And then we'll have
Because-
Thanksgiving and thankful we made it through Halloween, and then we'll
Yep.
celebrate with Christmas. Huh?
Thanksgiving is such a skipped over holiday, really. when you think
is.
for decorations.
There's
like
Christmas crap everywhere at the
Yeah,
store already.
Christmas
Not
already
one
going
thing
up.
Friggin' Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we eat the
Here's
turkey.
here's a question for you. This John might know this one. What house has been recognized by the Guinness's Book of Records for the
Amityville.
world's haunted house?
Amityville.
Amityville. No.
Wild
I would
Bill,
say that house out in Connecticut, man.
What's it
a
called?
haunting in Connecticut house.
Yeah.
No. Anybody in the audience? Anybody wants to comment? No.
Why do I feel
It's
like
called
I know this?
the Cutting Edge Haunted House. Have you ever heard of this place?
Oh, is
Hey.
that chick from when out in California?
It
Where-
is.
I mean,
Are you just
she
reaching
has
for the stars
halls.
now, Sean?
No. I mean, she lost it. Her dad, they were really big into guns, and she just
I
built
heard-
this. She just built this house to where
Oh
hallways
no, you're
lead to
you're
doors.
thinking of Winchester. You're
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
of
yeah.
Winchester.
That is-
That one that kept on building and building and building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there in San Jose. But Sean, you should have got this Cutting Edge. You're a butcher.
Oh, well,
Cutting Edge.
it's Halloween 365 days out of the year where I work.
Yep. So okay, so you want me to offend people now? I looked up why Halloween's a bad thing,
Why?
even though I love Halloween. Okay, I'll tell you the religious look at it. Let's say beneath the Halloween candy's coating is a history of evil. The origin of Halloween is a Celtic festival to Samhain, lord of death and evil spirits. Their sun god was losing strength, and Samhain, lord of death, was overpowering him. Druid priests led the people in diabolical worship ceremonies in which animals, humans, and other offerings were rounded up, stuffed into wicker cages, and burned to death, like the Wicker Man. If you've seen that. Trick or treat is a reenactment of the Druid practices. The candy has replaced the human sacrifices. When you give out Halloween candy, you are in essence providing a sacrifice to false gods.
Oh Jesus!
Oh
That's
my
that's
God,
that's
this is
the.
Where'd that come from?
It was a
people follow
religious
that
site.
crap.
Was that like when you Googled that one and it was like on the 75th page? Did you read all those?
It was yeah, I know. I do put the page through a little bit, but yeah, I found it on a religious site. I think it was a priest or a pastor wrote that.
Please.
That's his view that this is it's really a sacrifice to a demon.
And I'm going to affect some Catholics. That priest is full of shit.
Yeah. All right.
That's where
I
look
wanted to ask our psychic medium person if she ever encountered any demonic entities in her readings and her trying to project, and what she runs into, if there were ever any demonic entities, and how did what she saw and how did she feel about that. But she ran on us. She absconded.
Well, what can we just say?
I got more. The candlelit pumpkin or skull served as a signal to mark those farms and homes that were sympathetic to Satanists and thus deserving of mercy when the terror, which was trick or treat now, of the night began. So if those houses put it, it's almost being passed over. Now how you put the lamb's blood on your door and your house got passed over. That's what they used to do back then with the Druids, right? Masks and costumes. Observers would dress in costumes like animal skins and heads. They would dance, chant, jump through the flames in hope of warding off evil spirits. The Vikings did that too. The what are they called? The berserkers would go through a demonic ritual to feel like they are the wolf, and then they go on.
Well, you know what? The berserkers, if I'm not mistaken, they were taking drugs that would make them freak out. They would take drugs, John.
Yeah, they did. They was witches that would give them potions which had these drugs, and there was a salve that they would put on their bodies too, and then they'd go through this, getting themselves all worked up and feel like they were the beast, and the berserkers would just go kill everybody, they just go to a farm and just kill everybody. But where did bobbing for apples come from?
I don't know.
No idea.
It was a Roman ritual to the goddess of fruit in 43 AD. So
how funny would it be to watch a bunch of people with no teeth try and bob for apples?
Yeah, how do you grab it? So it was probably for
Sean.
It was probably for the kids, to bob for apples. The adults couldn't do it, So Devil's Night, which is the night before Halloween, is the worst night of the year for arson and fires.
Well, see,
Why is that?
a long time ago, but recently, within the last 10 years, no, nothing.
Yeah, I don't think you hear that. I tell you what, when I was a kid in Queens, Devil's Night, I think it was actually Halloween night. Man, we would break stuff. We'd run down the street and everybody's car antenna we would snap off. We'd throw rocks through windows. We were juvenile delinquents. But that's what we did.
I remember the eggs being thrown at cars.
Oh yeah, the eggs too.
The soap in the windows.
We had instances where people, I remember in Queens, threw eggs at cars, and the person occasionally that would crash, lose control because it startled them so much. But it's funny how you don't have a conscience when you're that young, and you're just going along with everybody, causing trouble.
I don't know who started that tradition, John.
I don't know. We might have started it in Queens. But we were, yeah. I'm lucky I moved from there.
Hey, what about the? You were talking about the what was it? The Samhain or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there's the was it the Samhain, which is different. I just want to make sure you didn't get those confused together.
I don't know.
The Samhain is the marking of like the end of the harvest into November 1st. Like a celebration, not to be confused with the Samhain, which is referencing a demonic entity.
Yeah,
they sound really similar, so it's kind of.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you remember Donald Pleasance in Halloween, he was the one who brought up the Samhain. That's the first time I ever heard that name ever brought up. Was in Halloween.
Hey, John. Joni has a question for you. She wants to know: were you born in New York City?
Yeah, 4 years in the Bronx. 4 years in the Bronx. A year in Brooklyn. I don't know, about 6 years in Queens, and then about 15 years on Long Island or so. And then I left New York at 31.
Well, all I know is, if I'm not mistaken, Sandheim or whatever the hell it is the witches' New Year's. I think that's when they start. That's very, very big, in for the witches, for people who practice Wiccan,
And Sean, you might know this one. 1973 movie. What movie convinced America to throw away their Ouija boards?
In 73? It had to be The Exorcist.
1973.
Had to be The Exorcist.
Did they play with a Ouija board in Exorcist?
Absolutely. The girl did, yeah. That's how the original kid, John Doe, that they called him, I can't remember his real name, his aunt introduced him, the real kid involved in the storyline was a boy. His aunt in St. Louis introduced him to a Ouija board, and that's how he got possessed. The family lived in Washington, D.C., but they were visiting with the aunt in St. Louis. That's why when they couldn't unexorcise the kid, they brought him back to St. Louis to that hospital. Remember when she went to the hospital to have the psychiatrist looked at her. And it's funny, my daughter lives out that way, and the father-in-law said we could go visit that hospital. That room where the kid was exorcised in the 60s or whatever it was, there's a black stain on the ceiling, and they painted. Is
it mold?
It keeps coming back and coming. Yeah, like it's the devil's mold. It keeps coming back and coming back. Yeah, So he asked me if I wanted to go. I said no, I don't go anywhere near it because I think those things can attach to you. I said I don't want to go to the hospital or the house. But one of the things that was brought up was that Halloween parties. There's a lot of experimentation Halloween night with seances, Ouija boards, levitation, rituals, and ritual sex takes place for a lot of kids, a lot of teens, on Halloween night. These are the things that I looked up where they said that Halloween is, it's not the coolest night as opposed to sitting home with your parents watching Halloween and, having a small party, The Bible warns Christians, the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. You could not celebrate Halloween without witches. And then it names an Aztec god that I can't even pronounce. The Zolteotl is shown naked.
Demons now.
Yeah, naked.
Be careful, don't mention his name.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said the name, right?
Yeah, go look in the mirror and say it 3 times, see what happens.
If you look it up, she's naked, wearing a pointed hat, which is the witch's hat, and riding a broomstick. That's where it came from.
Was
an old Aztec god.
Oh my God.
And it says where you find witchcraft, you usually find nudity, divination, immorality, and occult practices.
There you go.
What were you going to ask?
Should have brought a witch on tonight.
What?
Maybe we should have brought a witch on tonight. What do you think?
Yeah. Jen, you must know witches.
Thanks. I only
No,
play one on
did-
TV.
Did you see Jen? She took off that hat. She
Let
took
me-
off her witch hat.
Yeah, there you go. Let me get my little black book out. I can call a number of witches.
Yeah, seriously. Why
So
do witches ride brooms?
Well, because it was shown as that witch, the Aztec goddess. She was riding a broom. But I don't know what the purpose of riding the broom is.
Yeah, what? Yeah, well, why?
She didn't want to
Do
clean.
they, do they really ride brooms? I mean, can they fly through the air? Or is that
Yeah.
just for
I
kids?
think it came from this Aztec thing as a kind of urban legend tradition.
Yeah, well, I like to know.
So I got messaged about another story about how the jack-o'-lantern came to be.
Yeah.
And this one's pretty interesting. I don't think we covered this base. It was about a old Irish myth about Stingy Jack, who apparently tricked the devil for his own monetary gain. And then God didn't want him into heaven, so he's been stuck here for eternity. And it's talked about that that's when in Ireland people started to carve demonic faces and stuff out of the turnips, and then eventually pumpkins or whatever to frighten away Stingy Jack, I guess.
Stingy Jack.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
There's probably a number of
That
different
is interesting.
cultures.
That is
They have
interesting.
their own stories. Sean, do you know how the first werewolf was created? Along
Honest to
those
God,
lines?
no, I don't.
Well,
I don't.
it was King Lycan, and he invited Jupiter to dinner, which if that's Greek, if you were Roman, it would be Zeus, and he served human flesh. And
Okay.
Jupiter was so offended that if you want me to eat human flesh, then I am going to turn you into an animal. And he'd left his body human, but the head of a wolf was because
wow.
he served.
That's
was
how we got the beer Wolf's Head.
Yeah, that's it. That's and you said Sam Ween, and I was thinking of Sam Adams.
Too many Sams and Wolves and all.
Yeah, well, you brought that up.
Like,
I
we
got a
got
few more here.
three names that start with J in here, one with an S. So it's just there's out numbers in everything out
Let's
there.
say in the Old Testament, witchcraft and the occult were capital crimes, punishable by death. In the New Testament, witchcraft is listed among those things that are to be renounced.
It's
do not
snowing
turn
balls all over Jenny's head.
Do not turn to mediums or necromancers. Do not seek them out, and do not make yourself unclean. I had read something in some of my research. I don't know, one of the books I was writing that it was a quote in the Bible that God looks upon witchcraft as the same capital crime like a murderer, let's say, that nothing irritates him more than people reaching out to the dead, for knowledge, forbidden knowledge, that type of stuff, But
So I'm going to hell?
You know what that tells me, Sean, is that it's real. He tells you not to do it, but you can do it. It is real, Yeah, you already said you're going to hell. You had a near-death experience.
Hell
Yeah,
in a
it's
handbasket.
true.
Well,
Jen-
it's about
look
that
at
time for
Jenny's
me
face.
to become the Invisible Man.
All right, Jay, you have a good day.
Thanks.
Okay.
Don't work too hard.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
work too hard.
3 o'clock
See you
is
later.
insanely early. So
Oh,
here
yes,
comes the
it is.
Invisible Man.
Bye.
You signing off? Okay.
Yeah, he's too tired. But
All
we're
right.
going to take a real quick break and mention Carnation. And thank you so much, Carnation, for sponsoring this second hour of Chasing Prophecy Radio.
Yeah, thank you,
All right.
Carnation.
Does Carnation make chocolate milk?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
make
they probably do.
they make
Yeah,
some
they do.
good stuff.
they're not
Carnation
bad.
Essentials.
They got them instant breakfasts. They're pretty good in the morning. Where you fill it up with milk and stuff like that. So, John, what's your plans for Halloween?
Well, wait a minute. Wait, I got more questions.
Uh,
What are the two most frequent ways children are introduced to the occult?
Halloween.
Halloween. Nah.
Yeah, Halloween and heavy metal music.
Oh,
Do you know that
oh, come on.
the public schools, right, celebrate only two holidays in public school? Do you know what they are?
Christmas.
Not Christmas.
Halloween. Well, they
Halloween?
used to. Do they still do it though?
I don't know. Halloween, and what was the other one? Yeah, I think so. They still dress up for Halloween. Halloween, and what is the other one that the public schools
Christmas.
celebrate? Because these are considered non-religious events. Valentine's Day.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Halloween and Valentine's Day are the two that they celebrate. Yeah, here's the thing. The Pilgrims banned, yeah, so they had Halloween. The Pilgrims banned Halloween until 1845 when the Irish immigrants came to New York because of the potato famine. They brought Halloween with them and it spread across the country. I don't know why I made this note, but the son of Seth, which is Adam's third son, right? The
Right.
son of Seth had a book of magic given to him by Satan. And the magicians of Egypt did the same thing when they practiced their secret arts. They had a book of the dead, the book of magic. But think about that. The third son, he already corrupted Cain to kill Abel. And then Seth, the third son, his son had a book of magic. That's incredible. But the devil was there trying to corrupt, hating God and his children and humanity since the beginning. Satan's goal is to make evil seem good, and if you resist the devil, he will flee from you. That's mostly all from a religious site. Maybe I saved the soul or ruined the holiday.
You didn't ruin my holiday.
I don't know what I'm doing Halloween night. I don't know.
You pass out candy to the kids?
Yeah, I bought 3 bags of candy. This neighborhood for years, nobody had even come to the door, and this whole neighborhood is turned over. There's all kids on the neighborhood, in the houses now. So I got to actually slow down how fast I drive through the neighborhood. There's a lot of kids here.
What we're giving now is microwave popcorn.
Okay.
I mean, is it already cooked, or you're giving them?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. No.
Uncooked.
It's uncooked. Throw it in the microwave.
My
I think the parents will be happy because they won't have a dentist bill. You know what I mean?
How many people do you get? Because that's a lot of popcorn if you get a lot.
We have been averaging 130 to 140 kids.
Isn't that going to cost you a lot of microwave popcorn? It's expensive.
Well, not if you go to BJ's.
Who's BJ?
It's like a Costco's. It's a new store that opened up down in Bridgeville. And
I'm lucky I get 20 kids, 15, 20 kids.
I get one.
Well,
Maybe
what a
one or
lot of
two.
people do, Dormont, it's huge for Halloween. And people come from other different parts of the South Hills, park their cars and send their kids out to get more candy. I remember when growing up, we'd go out with 2-3 pillowcases.
Oh, yeah.
Fill them suckers up.
I remember in Queens, we go through all the apartment buildings, one floor after another. These are like 12, 15 story high. I'd fill a whole bag up. I'd go back, give it to my parents, take another bag, go out again.
Yeah.
I'd probably fill up 6 bags of candy and bring it home. And by the time I got home, my father ate all the good stuff.
The Reese's.
Yeah, all the chocolate, all the baby roots.
How about you, Jen? You guys giving out anything?
I got stuff. Like I said, we only get like 1 or 2 kids. You don't get very many.
Well, you get to take your grandchildren out, don't you?
Well, no, they're too little.
Why not? Bull crap. Take them out.
They're like babies.
So dress them up and take them out.
No, I don't eat the candy. I'll end
spoiler.
up eating the candy. I don't
What's
need
your
it.
favorite candy? Sean, what's your favorite candy?
3 Musketeers.
How about you, Jen?
My favorite is there's 2 of them. I have Heath Bar and Bridget and Ryan. Who are these people?
Bridget and Ryan bar?
Uh-huh.
What's a Bridget and Ryan? Mine is the Baby Ruth bar.
No, there's somebody in here named Bridget and Ryan. What did they? We're not doing it.
Is that Ryan O'Shea?
No, I don't think so.
Baby Ruth bars.
Baby Ruth is my
Do you
favorite.
know this person, Bridget and Ryan?
Bridget and Ryan.
Our psychic bailed on us. She left. She didn't feel like there was enough energy. Sorry, Bridget and Ryan. Yeah, our psychic left. Sorry.
Hmm.
I like the Snicker peanut butter. Those are good too. Bite
Snickers,
size. The
they give me
bite size one.
they give me heartburn now. They used to be my
Why?
favorite. I don't know. A lot of stuff that's processed, bagged, boxed, canned. I can't eat that stuff anymore. I have to have fresh food mostly.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens when you're a senior citizen.
For the last half hour of the show, if you guys have any questions for John, he's a UFO fanatic, the demonic guy. And Sean is a retired ghost hunter.
Yep.
And I am a fiction writer. If you have any questions for us, I would love to answer some questions. It's bad when your shows kind of got screwed up because somebody, when you have
That's
a,
all.
yeah, kind of
Sean,
gets irritated.
which werewolf movie do you like better? Werewolf of London, made in 1935, or The Wolfman in 1941?
The one in 35.
The Werewolf of London?
Yeah.
Did you watch Penny Dreadful?
Oh yes,
You know
I
what?
did.
I did
I
not.
loved it. I loved it.
I can't deal with clowns, man.
There's no
Penny
clowns in it.
Dreadful. She wasn't a clown.
No,
No,
no.
She was I don't know what she was. She was like a religious
a witch. No, she wasn't a
witch.
witch. I
She
don't
was
know.
like a psychic.
Well, she got pulled into it all. Yeah. Well, no,
She was
she was a witch.
religious. Was she a witch?
Remember the second season where she went to that witch's house and the
Yeah.
witch showed her everything?
Yeah.
Technically, she was a witch, but the werewolf in it, they used the same makeup as Werewolf of London, where it
Really?
was more like the sideburns and the pointed.
I
it wasn't
enjoyed that.
Oh, that was one of the best shows. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe how they abruptly ended it.
Ended it. They didn't.
Yeah, they introduced new characters, right? Jekyll and Hyde, and then it's like 3 episodes later, it's over.
Yeah.
What happened?
I was,
And you know what's funny? I remember seeing in March they came out and said they were approved for season 4. So I said, great, there's going to be a season 4.
what
And
happened?
then, well,
Do
somebody
you
said
think they probably ran out of money?
they said the ratings weren't there, but technically you don't have ratings on Showtime, right? HBO. Are there ratings? I guess
I
maybe
don't
they
think
know how
so.
many people they know. There's no commercials, so what's the difference? They know how many people are watching, but I can't imagine people didn't watch that show. Sean, it was all the old characters: Frankenstein, Dracula,
Oh, really?
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, wasn't the end?
Wolfman.
Wasn't Dracula? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
It ended with Dracula.
Yeah, Dracula took her for his bride, and the werewolf in it, and it was so cool. She called him the Werewolf of God because and I think as it developed, he was actually going to be a good guy, right? And I think he would have eventually been the one to fight Dracula, to fight the ones on the evil side, Dorian Gray and those. He was the Werewolf of God, but they have a big battle. I know it's interesting if you remember it, Jen. Frankenstein was the only one who didn't participate. Remember?
Yeah,
Because he was always a loner, sad. No one loved him.
Bad for him.
Yeah, so he didn't take sides in it. But you had the evil side versus the guy that what was his name? The one from James Bond, one of the James Bond guys. It wasn't Van Helsing. It was, the
Now,
aristocrat.
you know what? I did watch Van Helsing,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that movie.
I
Van
like the
Helsing.
ones with the what was Underworld, the 4 or 5.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, I love werewolves.
She's a hottie. I was in
Yeah.
love.
Oh,
with
yeah.
her. Oh my God.
Do you know when she was first starting acting? I don't remember the director. I think it was one of her first movies was Pearl Harbor, right? She was the girl in Pearl Harbor.
I don't know. Kate
yeah.
Beckinsale?
Kate
That's
Beckinsale. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh my
and the
God.
producer or the director of that told her, with your looks, you will never succeed in Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
That's what he said to her. He's probably a Weinstein type director that was trying to, But I think she's very attractive.
Oh
I
my
don't.
God, she is. She's
Yeah, and
gorgeous.
she works out. I saw something with her exercise routine for those cat suits she wears in the underworld. I think she's probably only about 5 feet tall, but I think she's very attractive.
Very, very attractive. And yeah,
Do you know
yeah, yeah.
since you like werewolves? Who was it? The Greek. What did they say when you kill? I can't remember now. When you kill a werewolf, it turns into a vampire, or when you kill a vampire, it turns into a werewolf. I can't remember.
I,
They were the only
really?
society that said that it then when you kill it turns into the other kind, almost like a moth and a butterfly.
Huh. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I no. But
I had I had once
let
done
me
like
ask you this,
yeah.
John, since you're really big into horror, and I
Mm.
asked a friend of mine at work today, and he's really big into werewolves, Dracula, and all them vampires. And he says no, but I want to ask you this question. Do you think that werewolves and vampires can coexist together?
Well, if you think about the old Dracula Lugosi movies, he was able to control wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's always been a theme that the vampire they can control wolves. I don't know about werewolves. I've always seen werewolves and vampires as arch enemies that they would fight.
And that's what I
Yeah,
thought. But if you look at it, at the one under what was that name of it, that she was in?
Underworld.
Yeah, where she actually was hooked up with a werewolf man,
Yeah,
caused a
well,
lot of stress in the families. You know.
but that's entertainment, and they got to come up with a new idea. But if you really go back into the traditions, I think they were more enemies, is what they were. You know, but the wolf can be controlled by a vampire. Because matter of fact, in the original Dracula with Lugosi,
Hmm.
they found what's the guy's name in Dublin who wrote it? Bram Stoker, right?
Right.
Bram
Bram
Stoker.
Stoker, yeah.
Stoker. Yeah. In his notes that didn't get into the book in the movie, in his notes he had where the wolf, Dracula commanded the wolf to go in the house, grab Lucy, and drag her out because he couldn't enter the house. He wasn't invited in.
Right.
And remember the scene in the Dracula one from like 92, 93, that big white wolf
Yeah.
that was outdoors? Yeah. Well, in the original notes, that wolf was to go in,
Oh,
grab her, and pull her out so Dracula could take Lucy.
my
But that
friend
that
Holly.
didn't make it in.
My friend Holly says they told Lucille Ball that she would never make it either.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's
Jim,
funny.
you're awful quiet tonight. What's up with this?
I, I think with Lucille Ball, I mentioned once that she was the one that Desilu Productions with Star Trek. If it wasn't for her, Star Trek would have never made it. She wanted that show done, and the first two seasons was Desilu Productions. Then they went bankrupt and sold to Paramount, and Paramount made all that money off the movies. They didn't even want Star Trek, and Lucille Ball got stuck holding the bag because she sold it, and
Wow.
Paramount made billions off of that franchise.
Oh,
Any questions out there?
any question, guys? No.
Sorry again that there's no psychic. So there was a link. I can't. Sean's going to have to remove the link on Pittsburgh Paranormal. I can't. Won't let me remove the link for StreamYards. There's no readings. The psychic is no. She's not here. She left. Bad energy.
It was bad juju.
Sorry. Yeah, bad juju. She thought bad
Okay.
energy. Why? Maybe people personal issues because they don't feel any bad vibration. What is that? What did she say there?
Bad entry. Why? Maybe it's a personal issue because I don't feel any bad vibrations.
I
either.
don't see
I don't get
either.
it.
I
don't
don't
get
know,
it.
guys. I do apologize. I think we're a nice bunch of people.
You got to have some controversy in a show. You don't want everybody, all the
yeah.
hosts saying the same thing. I like to throw questions out that are, that may offend you.
Wesley, there's no readings. I'm sorry. Do you have a question or comment for Sean or John?
Who is this guy in the red robe here? A ghost? Is that a
I
ghost?
think he
A ghost?
Wesley,
past?
hear us. Wesley, there's no readings, son.
I think it's Ebenezer.
I don't know why he won't answer.
I
But
don't think he
anyway.
was there. That was a ghost.
Okay,
That
I
was not
see.
Lesley. That was not Lesley. That was a ghost we just saw.
Wesley, I'm sorry, hon. We're not doing any readings. Oh, geez, here we go again. Yes, Lucille had faith in Star Trek.
Oh yeah, Lucille Ball. Yeah, it was her show for the first 2 seasons.
It was?
Desilu Productions. Star Trek was Lucille Ball's show. She was the executive producer of that.
Star Trek.
Star Trek, absolutely.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And after the second season, they sold it to Paramount, who just wanted to get through season 3 and canceled it. And 20, 30 years later, they made billions off of the movies, the franchise.
Star Trek was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Star Trek, not track.
I maybe
Trek, whatever.
I wasn't really big into. I wasn't big into Star Trek.
Oh, that was my
really
favorite.
Wasn't. No way.
I wasn't into Star Wars. Hated Star Wars.
No, I really couldn't get into Star Wars
No,
either.
I love Star Trek.
I think it's because you had a problem with the princess.
I remember when it came out, Star Wars, and I was going to take my fiance to the drive-in theater, and I said, you know what? I'm loyal to Star Trek. That's what it was. I was loyal to Star Trek, and I am not going to support Star Wars. And I didn't, and I never liked it. I watched it afterwards. And there you go, Joshua. Paramount made a fortune off of it, and Lucille Ball got stuck, but that's business.
But I mean, she wasn't hurting for money either.
Well, I don't know. Desilu Productions went bankrupt, so she had to sell to Paramount.
Did you watch that movie?
Which one?
Is this their story, of Lucille Ball?
No. When was that on?
Oh,
a while back.
Yeah, I'd say about a year ago.
I would like to watch that.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
She was one of the original funny women, comedians.
I enjoyed it immensely. Can I get rid of this guy? I'm going to kick from the studio.
Jenny, what I predict, what I see in your future, okay, if you want me to give you a reading,
Sure, give me a reading.
I'll give you a reading, honey.
Everyone's giving readings now.
Yeah, give Jen. Honestly, what I see for you is you're definitely going to have a book out within the next 4 years.
A book.
A book. You're gonna have a book, and it's not going to be what you have been writing about. It's going to be something totally different. Yeah, and you have some ideas going on in your head right now. But stay away from the UFOs, the aliens, and stuff like that, because it's not going to work for you. It's going to be like a totally different type of genre that you're going to write.
But first, I see her meeting a 45-year-old Rico Suave. And then she's going to write.
I know you were going to say that, Mark.
Well, she's got to have motivation, so that's what I see her doing. Dating a younger guy, Rico Suave.
Oh, I'm looking for a younger man.
And John, what I see for you too, bud, is that you're going to come out with a couple more books, okay? And they're not just going to be, where they're at right now. You're gonna like move up on the author list with your book. Your book's going to sell.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not. It's more on. It's funny because with Jen, hers won't be UFO alien. Yours will.
Yeah.
What happened to you, Sean? You disappeared.
All I see is his mouth.
I'm a ghost.
Moving. I don't
I'm
see
a
his
ghost.
head.
I'm a ghost.
I see his jaw moving.
Are you reading the comments that Wesley wrote? That's that Wesley is that one crazy that guy
Where
that
the hell
always.
am I at?
What did he say?
Holy shit!
What shall happen? He's talking about a nuke. Go.
What?
He's talking about
Where'd I go?
Russia is going to nuke Washington and D.C.
Nah. He's so desperate, Putin. He's throwing the whole radiation nuke stuff out there because he's desperate. He's losing that
Well, I
war.
hope China doesn't overthrow United States. That would
This
be
is
horrifying.
Halloween. This ain't political.
Yeah,
Halloween.
tell me about it. He's thinking it is.
This is what I see for you, Sean. I see myself convincing you to believe in God, and you become a reborn Christian. That's what
Oh,
I see.
Oh,
That's what I see.
okay.
So
I'll
we
tell
gotta
you
meet.
something. I'm going to share this. Share it. No, I'm not afraid to share it. You know,
Joshua, you see a sci-fi, you see a novella. I was working on a novella, sweetheart,
Novella.
and it's novella. It's all finished. I have to get it edited, and it's
I
about
know.
UFOs.
I want to share what happened to me and the
Go
experience
ahead,
that I had
share.
up in Erie. We did the Hinsdale House, and I decided to go over to Erie for a couple of days. And they were having an Irish festival at this one church. So I walked into church and sat down. And honest to God, I just bust out in tears.
That's what I'm telling
Bust out
you.
in tears. Honest to God, it was. It was. I don't know. I could not understand why I was breaking that.
I'm going to
It
work
was.
on
It
you.
was a
Sean.
hard cry. It was a hard cry.
I'm going to save your soul
Oh,
because
God.
right now your soul's in jeopardy from the things you've told us about your near-death experience. When
I'm
you
retired.
you talked about your near-death experience, you got my attention, and because they're not supposed to be bad. 99% of near-death experiences are positive. Yours wasn't. So you need to become a reborn Christian to
It'll never
find your
happen,
soul.
John.
Well,
It'll never
I can
happen.
work on you, and I think I'll
No,
convince
it
you.
ain't gonna work.
It will.
You can talk to me. You can. It just won't work.
Well,
The way I look at that, and John, I have to say that I'm very grateful that you think of that. I really am grateful for that. But I just give it to Spirit. See what he has to say about it. Maybe I'll go back to church. I don't know. I have a hard time
But
dealing
some-
with it.
you see
Who's
the thing?
spirit then? What is spirit to you?
Well, if you look at the people who are very spiritual, they say spirit. They don't say God. They don't say Jesus Christ. I say spirit because there was something out there that saved my ass for 31 years without taking a drink, 33 years without
The
taking
What
a
guardian
makes
drug.
you not
angel.
think? Yeah, why don't you think
The
it's
guardian
not?
angel.
What's that?
It's a guardian angel. It's a spirit. It's a guardian angel. It's your guardian angel. That's what it is.
Well, I
It's
wonder,
a,
you
I
ever see
think
the memes where the guardian angel's sitting like this? Like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like the
I have
thinker,
one of those.
Yeah.
Like he's worn out.
like the
Yeah,
thinker, you
he's
wore him
bummed.
out. But I think you're misinformed about a lot of things in the Bible and the devil. The devil, Satan. You said what? Satan's name is mentioned 2 or 3 times, a couple of times, one time. But
12.
there are a ton of quotes in the Bible. 20% of everything Jesus said was to combat evil and demons and the devil. But a lot of times
But then again, we can get into this, but then again, they consider the devil a separate entity, Satan as a separate entity, and Lucifer as a separate entity. So
I
who's
know
right? Who's right?
I know one of the religions does. I'm not 100% sure that that's the Christian faith that considers them separate. I know somebody does, maybe it's Jewish, I don't know, that they're 2 separate beings, almost like the Antichrist is a human, and that's a separate person
Right.
from the
But
devil.
see,
let's
if
say.
you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, they find the book of Thomas, right?
Yeah.
And Thomas, though, and the reason why his book never got into the Bible was because he did not believe that he had to go to a 4-wall building with
Right.
100 other people to pray to get God's love, to where he can go sit out in the trees, the grass, the flowers, the water.
I agree with that.
That's where I'm comfortable at.
Yeah. The book
That's
of Thomas was my favorite for years and years. It probably still is because, like you said, he believed in the spirit of God, that it's in everything. You don't have to go to a church. If you think about it, Jesus didn't go to churches. He was on, on beaches, he was in fields, on mountains. He didn't have a building that he was in. He didn't go to the synagogue to preach. So I think Thomas's probably falls more in line with the fact that, if you believe God's in everything, in
Yeah.
everything, I'll tell you a little quick story. Uh, like I said, I became reborn Christian in probably 2016, but I've been praying and praying and praying for my son, his kids, my grandkids, his wife, to find. And I don't want to go into details, but you know, so what happens? It's like this is divine intervention. I notice how when his kids are with my daughter's kids in St. Louis, everybody's so happy, you know, and then here they're kind of more shut away, homeschooled, no, there's a lot of stuff there with COVID and all of that. So and what happens out of the blue? My son changes jobs, nearly doubles his salary, enabling him to move. He puts his house up in Irwin up 3 days. He sells it. It only came down a few $1,000s, sold it, finds a house 6 doors from his sister, is buying it. They're building it. The property is there, and he'll be moving December 1st. And I had been praying and praying for months for some intervention there to help him and his wife and the kids. Unfortunately, I lose them now from here
Right.
because they're moving. But I think the two families growing up together and the kids being almost the four of them all the same age, and now, oh, I can't tell you the other news, but I think that'll be the best thing for the entire family there, is for them to all be together.
Yeah.
And it's out of the
Yeah.
blue. He basically almost doubled his salary,
Wow.
$100,000 more than what he was making,
Wow.
and he's able to move now. So it's like, wow.
Great.
But, and I feel that came from my asking and asking, not praying for myself, but for them.
Right.
No,
So
prayer does work.
And there's been so many things that have happened like that I said, that it proves over and over again to me that God's real. God is real.
Oh, God is real. I believe it.
Yeah. And when you don't ask for things for yourself for selfish reasons,
that is, yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, if you pray for a lottery ticket, you're just not going to get it,
No, every
Yeah,
morning
you
when I
might.
wake up, I always say, help me, Lord. I say it all the time.
Yeah. But,
Every
when
time I say, help me, Lord, when I go to bed at night,
Yeah.
I say, thank you.
That's why I
But I
say
thought you said you didn't believe in God.
it's
You're
in
confusing
there.
the hell out of me.
He's lapsed. His belief is
Not
lapsed.
lapsed.
And
Now,
I'm going
is
to
God
get it.
Jesus? Is Jesus God?
He's the son of God.
Trinity, the
He's the
God,
Son of God.
Father, God the
So
Son,
God,
and the Holy
so
Spirit.
God is very
Great
spiritual.
Trinity. There's
Yeah, I
three.
mean, it is spirit. It's spirit. It's
It's
absolutely
spirit,
spirit.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely.
one day I'm going to come out and have a cup of coffee with you, John.
I
We got to
believe
meet
in the
at
Holy
Panera.
Spirit.
We got to get Jen to meet there too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Jen here in 10 years. You know,
2012?
probably. Yeah, when you were a field investigator for me. I'll
Yeah.
tell you something else that happened. When I had that thing in the house, right? My dog would signal to me when it was here, and he would go crazy, barking and spinning around and stuff. Well, and it was in the house making noises, all just like the Exorcist movie. Everything you saw in her bedroom was going on in this house and in my bedroom, right? So I get up one morning, go downstairs. My dog's laying there in the living room. He can't get up, can't lift his head up. I didn't understand what was going on. I put him, and he's 108 pounds. I put him in a sheet so I can carry him, and he was in bad shape, and I think it was this demon that injured the dog. Turned out it was Lyme disease, right?
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez. Lyme
Yeah.
disease is bad.
Yeah, it was Lyme disease is what it was. But so I'm taking him to the vet, and they're giving him shots and stuff, and he's like, I take him home, and he can't lift his head up. He's falling down. He's in bad shape, right? I'm praying and praying and praying. At the same time, I was told, my sister called me and said that John, mom has kidney failure, renal failure, right? And then my brother had something else with his thyroid. They thought it was thyroid cancer, right? This is all going on at the same time that this entity's in the house. I'm praying every night for the dog, for my brother, for my mother. I get up one morning, right? It is after a week of praying, let's say. The dog is fine. Boom, like that. Walking around, moves his head, everything is fine. It's gone, right? My sister calls, says, no, my brother ended up with, I think he just had to take thyroid pills. He was fine. And then my mother did not have renal failure, it was dehydration.
Oh,
But the doctor said renal failure, right? So in 1 week, three miracles took place, and I felt it was from praying. But the way my dog turned around like that, it was incredible. And I think that entity here was a demon and was harming my dog because that dog was protecting me, and it let me know every time that when the thing was here, it just went crazy. It let me know.
it was probably.
Yeah,
There's power in prayer.
absolutely. That's the
And
reason.
you should always get up every morning and be grateful for what you have
Oh yeah,
every
absolutely.
morning, no matter
Yeah.
where you're
Absolutely.
at. And
I like going to the non-denominational church for the sermon, but I do go to the Catholic church maybe once a quarter, twice a quarter, let's say, and I go out to Latrobe for the Latin Mass.
oh, the Latin Mass. My son loves the
Yeah,
Latin
yeah,
Mass.
they do in Latrobe. They do the Latin
Yeah.
Mass. I used to go twice a year. I think it's probably been a little longer than that right now. I haven't been out there, but to me, to hear it in Latin, because I believe in the ritual and the power of the words. And I've read enough exorcist stuff from Malachi Martin and Gabriel Amorth
Mhm.
that when the demons have said, as a matter of fact, in one of the books, they were saying in English, and the demon said, that doesn't work. So they brought a different priest in, and he said it in Latin, and the thing was screaming and crying, no, no, no.
Yeah.
And it exorcised them right out. Because you say those words for 1,000 years in the ritual by a true priest that's clean, and it works. And the devil cannot
He doesn't
resist.
like Latin.
No, he doesn't like Latin because that was the original strength of the ritual, and he cannot resist the name of Jesus. Cannot. That's why you never say, I command you. I want you to leave. You don't say that. I always said, Jesus Christ commands you to leave.
Have you ever listened to Marshall Taylor
No, I
on
have.
YouTube?
I
He's
kind of
No.
like him.
great. I
Yeah,
like
he
him.
is. I'm trying to get him for your show. That's going to be your Christmas
Oh, I would
present,
love
Jenny.
to. He wrote the book on how infiltration, how Satan has infiltrated the Catholic Church. He wrote a
Oh,
book, and
absolutely.
I got that book.
Oh,
It's
I'd
really
like to
good.
read that. But I've said to people, it just came up the other day, or maybe on a different. I was on a couple of podcasts last week. It came up about the pedophile priests and everything, and I said, my view of that is that the Catholic Church did not recruit them. That was the devil having these people target the church to harm it. That's exactly what he did. He saw an opportunity there because they're celibate to bring these pedophiles and gay men in there and cause this havoc for the church. Who would want to destroy the Catholic Church the most? Satan. He was behind it. The
Yeah,
church
I
didn't
believe that.
recruit these
Oh,
people.
I believe that.
Yeah, that's the way I view it. I take an alternative view to that.
I
Everybody just
do.
wants to blame them, and they should have done more. They absolutely should have, but they got infiltrated, is what they got. As a matter of fact, there was a ritual performed back in the 70s. One night, I can't think of what the rich. God, I wish I could remember it. It was a bishop in the Vatican, and I think a bishop in South Carolina, and it was something to consolidate demonic power with the Vatican. I mean, you could look it up. I can look it up for next week. It was a headline in the Italian newspaper. The devil is in the Vatican.
Uh-oh.
The devil had entered the Vatican,
It's getting close to
and
launching our.
there was a name to it as far as the ritual that was performed.
Okay, well, we're coming to the witching hour. I'm sorry about tonight's mishap, but there's always next week. But if you think you'd be a great guest for the show, give us a call. Give us a drop on a direct message on Facebook or YouTube. I want to thank you all for commenting and sharing your thoughts.
Yep.
And remember, what's that saying? Sean, I was going to say something else. I was going to steal your line. Happy hunting. No. Make sure you listen to Sean Kelly on
next
Into the Night. What's that, hon?
Yeah, Into the Night. UPRN Radio 105.3 in about 10 minutes.
Definitely. And thanks again for tuning in to Chasing Prophecy on FM 105.3 New Orleans, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. Have a great night, guys.
Good night.
What do you
Happy
think?
Halloween.
I got a question for next week. Go. See ya.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.